Welcome back to Let's Talk Sports. I'm CJ Tully, and there's so much to get to in the MLB with teams surging, players taking phenomenal steps. Let's talk about it. Let's start off by talking about the New York Yankees, and they have been surging of late. On a 6-game win streak, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and this has come from some great play at the plate, but also the rotation has stepped up in a big way. Looking at the last 7 games here, Cody Bellinger has been a phenomenal piece for this Yankees team. They brought him back this past offseason. He's now in the last 7 games hitting .348, 2 home runs, 7 RBIs, and a .464 OBP. He has turned it up in a big way for this Yankees team. You can also look at somebody who's done it all year so far for the New York Yankees in Ben Rice. In the last 7 games, a .261 average, but on top of that, he has 4 home runs, 5 RBIs, and a .783 slugging percentage. This Yankees team is finding some production from the top of the lineup. Still need to see some more from players at the bottom, like a Jazz Chisholm and Aaron Judge. He has definitely played well as well, but we need to see more RBIs and less strikeouts from Aaron Judge. We've been seeing those strikeout numbers increase of late. But now moving over to this rotation and where this team has really started to become a powerhouse. Cam Schlittler has come on in a big way last year, and he has continued it into this season. This season now he is 3-1 with a 1.77 ERA with 41 strikeouts on the season. He is definitely becoming a close to ace on this team as he has stepped up in a big way for this Yankees team. We can also look at Max Fried, who I loved this addition a few years ago when he came over from the Atlanta Braves. Max Fried now 3-1 on the season with a 2.40 ERA and 32 strikeouts. And the Yankees are peaking at a great time. On the horizon, you're going to have Carlos Rodon and Garrett Cole coming up for this Yankees team, so continue the momentum. There's been some weird fall off with the AL East here this season. We're seeing the Blue Jays not play that well. The Red Sox have not found an identity. The Orioles are here and there. They're about a 500 team right now. And we might start to see the Yankees pull away with this one if these teams don't soon find their identity. It's just something that's going on right now in the AL East. It's something we've seen in the past few years. Last year, we did see a nice race come down with the Yankees, with the Red Sox, with the Blue Jays, but some of these teams just not finding their identity. This could be the year the Yankees take that big step and they make a statement in the AL. Carrying on now, moving over to the NL side of things, the San Diego Padres are now sitting atop the NL West. They're tied up there with the Dodgers. They're on a 17-8 streak now to start the season. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games, and this team is really turning it on. Look at Xander Bogaerts, a guy who a lot of people were questioning his addition when he came over here to the Padres. He wasn't really a star player for them since coming over from the Red Sox, but now this season he's hitting .289 at .810 OPS, 4 home runs and 16 RBIs. The home runs are leading the team. You have Xander Bogaerts right now tied atop for the home run leader for the Padres. He's played phenomenal this season, and it's really helping this team out. You can also look at Ramon Laureano, who came over last year in a trade. This season, .264 with 4 home runs and 17 RBIs. Laureano was a great addition to the end of the season last year, and he's carried that over to be a great piece here this season. I also want to look at Fernando Tatis. He has not yet gotten it going, and it starts to raise the question, can Fernando Tatis be the same player he was in 2021? Everybody has said that if Fernando Tatis can play at the top of the game, he would be an MVP every year. I mean, you have the Shohei Ohtani thing, but Fernando Tatis can play like an all-star and an MVP every single year. Could he get back to that? And that's where we're starting to wonder. This season now, just hitting .250, does not yet have a home run. He has 12 RBIs and 28 strikeouts, which leads the team. Can Fernando Mendoza get back to the all-star MVP caliber player he was? Or are we starting to see a little bit of a decline here with Fernando Tatis where he's just going to become an average player for this Padres team? Now, like I did with the Yankees, I want to look at the rotation here for the Padres because there's been some big names step up for them as well. Starting off with Randy Vasquez, now 2-0 this season with a 1.88 ERA. He's started in 5 games, and he has 30 strikeouts on the season. Michael King turning back the clock a little bit here, 3-1 this season with a 2.28 ERA. And how can we forget about the Grim Reaper in Mason Miller? This guy has been phenomenal. You look at what he did last year and just the streak that he has continued from the end of last year over now to the start of the year with the Padres. Coming over from the A's, they gave up a big haul, but it has definitely paid off for this Padres team. He has not yet let up a run this season. He's 1-0 on the season in 27 strikeouts on the year. This guy has stepped up. And honestly, he's just a great player. He hasn't even stepped it up. Mason Miller is just one of the best closers in baseball, if not the best. And I think his time here with the Padres is continuing to prove that. And I would love to see him in the playoffs in a big situation, finally making his mark on the postseason of the MLB. Now, but we do still have to talk about a team here that obviously I'm repping in the Philadelphia Phillies, continuing their losing streak. They're now on a 9-game losing streak, and it was getting covered up by the Mets for a long time. A 12-game losing streak for the Mets, definitely covered up what the Phillies were doing. Now the Mets have won back-to-back games. They're starting to flip their script. You do have Francisco Lindor going on the IL. doesn't seem to have hurt them last night. So we'll see what happens with the Mets going forward. But the Phillies, we have to talk about this team. I talked about them a bit on social media. You can follow me there at Let's Talk Sports. But what is this Phillies team going to do? Where is the light at the end of the tunnel? They went to extras against the Cubs, but then they lost again. And that was led by a Brandon Marsh 2-home run game, and I believe he had 3 RBIs on the day as well. That's not something you can rely on. Bryce Harper has not been clutch. He comes up and he hits home runs when you're down 5 or when you're really trying to just get through the game, but he doesn't have those clutch hits. Kyle Schwarber's going to hit your home runs. Trey Turner, it's just looking like a waste of money at this point. He's not been that perennial player you really wanted him to be. You look at the bottom of this lineup, and it's a AAA lineup at best. Bryson Stott, Alec Boehm have not gotten it going. Your best player right now is Edmundo Sosa, and he's pretty much been a platoon player. You have Felix Reyes, who came in, hit a home run his first game, then gets benched for 2 games, and then finds himself as the 4-hitter on this team. And yes, he's had a few hits, but he's not the 4-hitter the Phillies need. They messed up this offseason. They brought in Adolis Garcia. He's been all right, but you didn't bring in that big bat to change this team. You thought you can continue to run it back. You have JT Realmuto you brought back on a 3-year contract, and now he's on the IL. You brought back older players. You're not changing anything. You're not flipping the script. Justin Crawford had a great start to his time here with the Phillies, but again, he's still going to have growing pains. You can't rely on him to be everything for this Phillies team. The rotation has completely fallen apart. Christopher Sanchez even having a bad game just shows you what's going on with this Phillies team. You finally released Taijuan Walker, so maybe that clears up some space. You're going to have Zach Wheeler come back this weekend against the Braves, but if you continue this losing streak and you get swept by the Braves, you might find yourself well out of the contention for the division. You can find yourself about 13 games down in the division in May or late April even. This is not the Phillies team that you would expected. Again, I definitely thought they were taking a step backward, but this team has no answers for anything. You can't look at a glimmer of hope for this Phillies team. The lineup is bad. The rotation's bad. The bullpen's letting up runs. You have Duran on the IL. Brad Keller let up some runs the other day. This team has nothing. Rob Thompson is likely to be fired by the end of the week. If so, I'll definitely be breaking the news at Let's Talk Sports on social media. So like I said, check that out and subscribe here for the latest as well. But we need to see some kind of change. Maybe Rob Thompson leaving isn't going to change everything. You brought in Don Mattingly, so you figured at some point they had this quick trigger they could pull with Rob Thompson. But if the lineup's not hitting, is the leadership really everything that it comes down to? Or can we just accept the fact this Phillies team might just be a little bit washed? And if so, where do you move? You have all these long contracts that I don't think you're going to be able to get out of. Like I said, a 9-game losing streak now. We'll see what happens this weekend against the Braves, but there is no hope for this Phillies team right now. There is nothing to hold on to say, well, at least this is getting better. This team just does not have it right now. But I do want to highlight some great players that we've seen so far this season. I usually give 1-star standout, but I think there's a few we need to talk about here. Starting off with Yordan Alvarez of the Houston Astros, only played in 43 games last year, but has come on in a big way for the team that really doesn't have a rotation. They don't have much of a lineup without him. Yordan Alvarez so far this season hitting .347, a 1.2 OPS, his 11 home runs, and 26 RBIs. Yordan Alvarez has been doing it all. He's slaughtering me in fantasy baseball right now. So Yordan Alvarez, a shout out to him. Munetaka Murakami was on a 4 or 5 game home run hitting streak, and he's been a big bat at the plate here for this White Sox team, hitting just .253, but a 992 OPS. 10 home runs and 19 RBIs. The big question I keep asking is, how long will the White Sox hold on to him? Signed a 10-year, $2 million, or a 2-year, $10 million contract with the White Sox. Definitely something that could get moved. Or do you hold on to him and try and grow something here? Sure, he'll end up on the Dodgers, as everybody that comes on the scene does, but it would be really interesting to see what Munetaka Murakami can do in the full season. There are a lot of question marks about him coming into the year, but he's definitely turned it on and been a big power bat here for this White Sox team. Also want to look at Dylan Dingler coming in here with the Tigers. Their catcher has been phenomenal this season, now hitting .263 with an 854 OPS, 5 home runs and 19 RBIs. Would love to see him get a kick to the All-Star game. I think it would be big for this young player, and he's been an offensive piece that this team has desperately needed in the Tigers. They had a very slow start to the season. His bat has definitely been able to flip that script here for the Tigers. Nico Horner, I've been watching him slaughter the Phillies of late. A .304 average, 871 OPS, 4 home runs, 22 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases. The Cubs are now on a 9-game winning streak, and that's all against the Phillies and the Mets. So I do want to ask the question, how much can you put on the Cubs winning streak right now? Are the Mets and Phillies just that bad, or are the Cubs just that good? Having been able to watch them play against the Phillies, this rotation is really, really starting to turn it on, especially Shota Imanaga. You also have Eduardo Cabrera. He's been a big piece there for them, a great addition from the Marlins. The Cubs team on a 9-game winning streak, and a lot of that falling to Nico Horner and the great play that he has produced here for this Cubs team. Finally, I want to give you guys Bryce Turang, just across the division. 280 average, a 924 OPS, 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases. Bryce Terang and Nico Horner might be the most underrated players in baseball. I don't think the flashiness at the plate with second baseman really gets much attention, but these guys have been phenomenal. I mean, you even look at Bryce Terang playing for USA. He didn't really get a lot of love there either, and I think that comes from the fact that you just don't look at somebody like that as a star player. But Bryce Terang, Nico Horner, these guys have been great. If there's anything I missed from this past week, I know there was a lot that went on. I really wanted to highlight some of these players and some of these teams that have really started to get their offense and their pitching going. But let me know down in the comments. Subscribe here, please, at Let's Talk Sports. You can also follow me on social media on Instagram and TikTok at Let's Talk Sports as well. I love talking to you guys, and I'll catch you guys on Monday with everything that happened this past weekend.